Thank you. 4th of September, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
Okay. So we're just going over the cheshbon over here, the meisvei. The meisvei is on Chesamid base, and it starts 8 lines from the bottom of the page. Meisvei.
Thank you.
And Roy is coming in. I admitted him, and soon he'll be coming in, Be'ez Hashem, if he's available. Okay. So the Gemara brings the Mishnah that says that the Rochev is Koneh. And now the Gemara asks Money, who's the Mishnah go like? Welcome, Roy.
Thank you.
We're on Chesamid base in the Meisvei. The Meisvei is 8 lines from the bottom of the page. So again, Gemara brings the Mishnah. We see that all these cases, we see that the rider on the animal does get a kinyan. So the Gemara asks Mani, whose opinion do we need to hear over here that says that Rachuv is making a kinyan? Ilema Reb Meir. If you say Reb Meir, he's the one in our Mishnah here in Bava Metzia. Ask the Gemara on that. Hashta Yoshev Koni. Now that you've told us a few lines up from the Mishnah in Klayim, I got it right this time. I keep saying Bechoros. In Klayim, that just sitting in the cabin doing nothing, he can make a kinyan. Rachuv, me boy, the one that's sitting on top of the rider, on the top of the animal himself, of course he can make a kinyan. Kal v'chomer. So for Reb Meir, we don't need to hear what it says in this Mishnah. Ella, what should we say? Lav Rabbanan. Is it not the view of the Rabbanan that we're being told that what? That we're being told that riding on the animal constitutes a kinyan. Oh, and that was in spite of the fact that the Rabbanan argued on Rebbe Meir in the Mishnah in Klayim, and they said that the one who's sitting there in the cabin doing nothing, he's doing exactly nothing. He's not doing anything. He's not going to be in violation of any Isser Klayim. And likewise, he's not going to be able to make a kinyan, and so therefore, what do we see? We see, Shma Mina says the Gemara. We see that Rachuv is Koni. Okay, so right there, this is the Gemara's question. So now we go. Yesterday we didn't know exactly what the Gemara question was, and on who was the question. Rashi's going to explain us, and we'll start with Rashi. Rashi is the first Rashi we need to read is E Nema Rebbe Meir. This is in the block. Rashi, the wide lines on the bottom of the page, and it's the 5th line from the top. In the middle, it starts Dibur Maskal E Nema Reish Mem is Reb Meir.
Okay, E Nema. If you say it's Reb Meir, the Amar that it says Hayoshe Bakaron, somebody who's sitting in the wagon, Safeg et Ha'abrayim, he gets the Malchus, the 40 Malchus, and I guess that's because of Klayim.
Yeah.
And where are we up to? In our Mishnah, Yetida, is it Yechida?
Yechida.
Yechida is alone. He. The lace
Right.
Malkata Kavate. And it isn't the halacha is not like him. So it's not like Rebbe Meir.
Right. Masnisa Nichidohi is a singular opinion. That's the opinion of Reb Meir. And the halacha does not follow Rebbe Meir in that regard. Okay.
Is this Chashtel Rabbi there? I'm not sure if we did. It's part of it. Is the Chashtel Rabbi there in here? I don't remember seeing Chashta now, according to Rabbi Meir, Yoshev, the one who is sitting down in this car in this wagon, Kani does acquire it. The Kama that it says Hayoshev V'Karam, so if they get the Abayim, I guess it's a client. It says that the one who's sitting in the wagon does get the Malchus. And then this is a question. Roche, Metzia, do we really need the rider fact? It should automatically come from the Yoshe fact. The Yoshe is cunning. Of course, the Roche is funny. V'lamali ashmanim batarti. Why do I have to have these two teachings? So one is enough. Once I have the Yoshe gets it, I don't have to teach. I don't have to talk about the Roche. Roche automatically gets it. Why do I need two? Why do I have to say the Roche also cunning? So Ella lav the Rabbanan. Isn't it rather that this is the not that's the case of the Rabbanan, not Rabbi Meir? Uashma'in, we learn the Biyoshev that it's the one that's sitting in the wagon, the putter, that he's putter. He should be putter from anything, not Aval, the Rochev, but the one who is not, but the rider one, lo, he's not putter. The Chiyuvta and Tiyufta, and this is a contradiction with Rav Yehuda, the Parshat Rochev Miyashav.
Right. Okay, so.
Okay, take care. I don't know what that was. Tried calling me the other day too. Don't even know who it is. Go ahead. Very weird telephone number.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah,
you're
fine.
Very soft.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you've gotten softer.
Let's see.
I hear you, but it's not wow.
I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is what the Gemora is asking over here. The Gemora is made a proof that our Mishnah that says that the one that's riding on the horse, the donkey, whatever it is making a kinyan, and the Gemara said you got to say that this represents the view of the Rabbanan, because according to Reb Meir, it's superfluous. Reb Meir already told us that even the one that's sitting in the cabin doing nothing would make a kinyan. So he wouldn't need to tell us that if you're riding on the animal, you'd also make a kinyan. So therefore, the Gemara said our Mishnah here must be going according to Rabbanan, the majority opinion. And what that means is, says Rashi, is that the Rabbanan themselves hold that in the case of the one that's sitting in the cabin doing nothing, they hold that he doesn't get Arbaim. He's not over and climb, and he doesn't make a kinyan because he, in fact, is doing absolutely nothing. And so, therefore, what do we see, says Rashi? We see that the Rabbanan, which is the majority opinion over here, they hold that even though sitting in the cabin is not making a kinyan, but riding on the animal is making a kinyan. And what of that? Says Rashi, that represents a tiyufta to Rav Yehuda. That's a knockout to Rav Yehuda. Now, who is Rav Yehuda? Anybody remember who Rav Yehuda is? Rashi tells us who he is. He was the one who was Poshat Rochev Meyoshev. He was the one that derived the halacha of the rider from the halacha of the one that's sitting in the cabin. And so the Gemora is now demonstrating that the Rabbanan hold that is absolutely not true, that can't be done. How do you see it can't be done? Because you see that they say that even though the one that's sitting in the cabin doesn't make a kinyan, but that doesn't mean that the rider won't make a kinyan. The rider will make a kinyan. And you can't learn one out from the other. They're different. So for whatever reason, the Rabbanan hold, but Rabbi Yehuda is conflicting with the Rabbanan, and he can't disagree with them. So that is a tiyufta. Okay. So that's the Gemora's question. And now the Gemora, now we're going to go back to the Gemora and read the Gemora's answer to this question. The Gemora has an answer for, I think it'll answer up Rabbi Yehuda. So we'll start from where it says in the Gemora, Hacha b'mai askinan, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines from the bottom of the page. First word in the page is Mina. As in Shema Mina, Rachov is Kone. So now Rabbi Yehuda is in hot water. Now the Gemara says, 1 second, Hacha b'mai askinan. And we go to Roy to start the reading of the Gemora.
Hooray. Don't think I don't think I've got the place. 5 lines from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Middle of the line, Hacha b'mai askinan.
No, I'm on 8B3. No.
Should be the last page in 8B.
Yeah, it's the last page.
It's on 8B3, right-hand column, second paragraph. The Gemora deflects the challenge.
Oh, I see. I was too far down. I was looking too far down. All right. So this is the challenge to learn from this Mishnah the rider requires. Okay. Anchor b'mei asakinan. Here in our Mishnah, with what are we dealing? B'mana haig. Narag lay, with a rider that drives the animal with his feet. Thus the Mishnah indeed concedes that riding, that sitting upon an animal, is comparable to sitting in a wagon. Neither constitutes a valid kinyan. In our Mishnah's case, the rider acquires the animal only because he drove it, apparently with his feet. So the Gemara challenges this interpretation.
Okay.
If that's so, that in our Mishnah's case, the rider drove the animal. Hayenu minayeg, this constitutes leading. Why then does the Mishnah state one was riding and one was leading?
Yeah, it sounds like they're doing two different things. And the Mishnah is teaching us whether you do this, whether you do that, you make a kinyan. But according to the answer the Gemara is giving right now, the one who's riding, the whole reason that he's riding is because he's doing leading also. Oh, shkoyach. So you didn't teach me anything about riding the animal. You just told me that leading the animal makes a kinyan.
And then it says, let it simply state that both litigants were leading.
Trey Gavne Manhig. Oh, says the Gemara. No, that's just the point. What the Gemara is coming to teach you, that there's two different types of being manhig. You could be manhig standing on the ground, leading the animal, or you could be manhig sitting on top of the animal and putting your spurs into the animal's belly, and then the animal goes. Those are two different types of manhig. The Gemara is teaching us that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just to wrap up the defense of Rav Yehuda, we'd have to say that, and Rav Yehuda, he's talking about the type of person that's sitting on the animal, and he's not, he doesn't have any spurs in his cowboy boots over there. So he's just sitting on top of the animal. So in that case, what's he doing more than the guy who's sitting in the cabin? He's doing nothing also. And we said, and Rabbi Yehuda said himself, that just because he's holding on to the reins, that doesn't do anything. Holding on to the reins doesn't make a kinyan. That's what we said before from Rava, that you got to get the reins from the one who owns them. But if you're just holding on to reins just because you picked them up, you picked them up from Hefker, you picked them up from the Nixei Ger, there was mace without any Yorshim, that's not a kinyan just because you're holding on the reins. So therefore, now bottom line, Rav Yehuda is justified in saying that we learned out the din of the rider from the din of the sitter in the cabin. And our Mishnah is talking about a different type of a rider. He's a rider who's a manhig. So therefore, our Mishnah does not refute anything about what Rav Yehuda derived from the case of the rider in the cabin.
Yeah, I was under the impression that in order to make a kinyan, you had to not just pick it up, but draw it towards you, whatever it is.
You're talking about a kinyan Mashicha. We're talking about a kinyan Mosera.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The difference is the kinyan Mashicha you're doing on the actual article that you want to acquire. He's not trying to acquire the bridle. He's trying to acquire the animal. How do you acquire the animal? You got to get the animal to uproot his legs and do something, and walk forward. That'll be a kinyan Mashicha for an animal. But the kinyan Mosera for an animal, holding the bridle, you can pull the bridle from here until Timbuktu, but it's not going to do anything for you. The whole definition of Mosera is that the owner of the animal gives you the bridle in order to make a kinyan. Then you pick it up like that. That's called making a kinyan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now the Gemora says, so we asked a follow-up question on the Gemora's answer. Yehochi hainu manhig. And then we answered. We said, no, trei gavde manhig. There's two different types of manhig. And now the Gemora is continuing to explain this answer, I believe. We stopped in the middle. Ma'uda tema.
Mahu de tema Rahov Adik. We could have said that a rider that also leads is superior to someone that just leads. Could have said that a rider that also leads, what's he also doing? Is superior to someone that just leads. Dahu,
The Gemara is going to say what it is that he's doing in addition to leading.
okay, Dahu, Minaheg, Vidapis. Well, since the former leads the animal and also holds it, the Mishnah therefore teaches us that this is not so. The ArtScroll says, in summary, the Gemara upholds Rav Yehuda's assertion that riding does not constitute a valid kinyan.
Right. Okay, so what's the Gemara pointing out over here in this Mahuda Tema? Whenever the Gemara says Mahuda Tema, it's telling you that don't think that what we just got through saying is no chiddush. No, there's something here that you need to be taught that you wouldn't have thought is true. Because what would you have said? Mahuda Tema. You would have said that the rider in this case, what's the din that the Mishnah says over here? The rider's riding and on the animal, and there's a manhig standing on the ground leading the animal. And the Mishnah says the din is that the yachloku, both of them have made a kinyan, and accordingly we divide the animal between them. Gemora says the chiddush that the Mishnah is teaching you is you would have thought not like that. You would have thought that the rider, he's got two things going for him. He's got the fact that he's causing the animal to move forward because he's doing
guiding with his feet,
right, with his spurs of his cowboy boots, and in addition to that, he's toughest ball. In addition to that, he's toughest ball. He's in some sense, in some way, the Gemara is describing that the rider is toughest in the animal. He's got some type of holding that he's doing of the animal. And we would have thought that that would be superior and beat out what the manhig who's standing on the ground leading the animal is doing, because he's only doing one of those two things. He's only doing manhig. He's causing the animal to move forward because he's leading the animal, but he's not doing toughest. He doesn't have any tfisa in the animal. He's just holding on to the thing that leads the animal. So therefore, we would have thought that the rider would make the kinyan and knock out the manhig altogether, that he would not make any kinyan at all. So therefore, the Gemara says, Kamash Malan, that what? Kamash Malan, and the Gemara doesn't say Kamash Malan. What's the Kamash Malan? Kamash Malan, we come to hear. What do we come to hear? Gemara didn't tell us, but maybe Rashi does. But what according to what I'm saying, the Gemara is saying Kamash Malan that the rider is not knocking out the kinyan of the manhig standing on the ground, because we see that the Mishnah says that they both have made an acquisition in the animal, and accordingly we divide the animal between them. So that's the Kamash Malan, that we do that, and we don't award the animal 100% to the rider because he has a stronger hold on the animal, and his hold on the animal wins out, and he'll be awarded the to be the one who made the kinyan of the animal exclusively. We don't say that. So what that did is that told us that the Mishnah is coming to tell us a chiddush, and in the meantime, we've defended Rabbi Yehuda. We defended Rabbi Yehuda.
What would be the situation if one of them didn't want to make a kinyan, although he did the actions that would be interpreted as a kinyan, but all he wanted to drive.
So if he doesn't have any intention to make a kinyan, he makes no kinyan.
Right.
You need to have das to make a kinyan.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the Gemora says in the case of a child, or in the case of a shota, or in the case of a deaf mute, that the Rabbanan came in and they decreed that they should have a kinyan in the things that are in their possession, midrabanan, so that people won't take advantage of them and then steal things from them, and then they'll get into a fight. Why did that Rabbanan have to make a whole ordinance for them? It's because since they have no das, they have no ability to make any kinyan in anything that's in their possession. And so therefore, the Rabbanan they got a kinyan de Rabbanan. So no one can take it away from them because they do have a kinyan in their things. But the whole reason that they can't make a kinyan is because they got no das. If you have no das, you don't have any das to make a kinyan, because you need to have das to make a kinyan. So even if a person has das, but he's not using his das to make the kinyan, he makes no kinyan also. Okay. And that leaves us at 12:32. Okay. We started a little late today, but we went a little further, and Bez Hashem will go further tomorrow.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Take care.
All the best, everybody. Chodesh Tov and Mevorach, Besuras Toibos, by all of you and your families and